Hi there, my name is Chris, Sales Manager for Sound and Vision in Bolton. We're looking at a new range of speakers today from Kef, known as the Q series. In the range you have the Q100s, the Q300s, the Q500s, the Q700s and the Q900s. The models we're showing here are the Q300s and the 700s. They're available in three different finishes, which are black oak, walnut and cherry. So let's have a look at some of the design technology in this new range of speakers. It is a complete rework from the old Kef IQ series. First of all, we've gone back to the square cabinets. The reason we've gone back to square cabinets is that you can get 30% more volume of air, so you increase the bass from the speaker. We've also gone to a completely new rework of the actual drive unit. In fact, this drive unit costs 2.5 times the cost of the previous IQ drive unit. First of all, you've got an aluminium construction of the drive unit, making it a lot stiffer. It's a lot quicker to respond. You've got what they call a Z-Flex design around the outer rim here of the speaker. The tweeter is mounted completely independently on the Uni-Q drive series. You've got basically the drive unit here, which you can see is not attached to the actual tweeter itself, but everything's coming from one single source. Now if you imagine if someone is singing, everything comes basically from one voice. If you look at a traditional speaker where you have a bass, mid-range and a tweeter which is offset, you've basically got the bass and mid-tones coming from one area and then the high frequencies coming from another area. It's almost like someone singing with two mouths. Well, everything comes from one area, so everything's coming from one single point on this speaker, just the way it should be, so you get tremendous imaging. The imaging quality on this speaker is really second to none. In fact, when Kef were developing this range of speakers, they actually bought in speakers from various other manufacturers to make sure that every speaker they've got, whether it's a bookshelf speaker or a floor standing speaker, is beating everything in its class. So we've got, as we said, we've got basically an aluminium drive unit using Z-Flex design. Independent separate tweeter in the centre here, which is a 1-inch stiffened dome tweeter. It uses Kef's what they call tangerine wave design, which filters out the high frequencies across the drive unit. And then the Z-Flex design, yet again, disperses that over a wider area as well. So you get, I said, a really smooth transition of all the high frequencies. The 300s are actually bass ported, as you can see here. And when you go on to the floor standing speakers, they're all seal speakers. You've got the LF drivers here. When you look at the floor standing units, and we'll have a look at this closer in just a moment, the actual drive unit cells that you see here are mounted completely separately in the cabinet. So you've got the bottom two drive units here, which are in the bottom section here. It's actually sealed internally on here, so the actual bass drivers that you're looking at here are not interfering with the high frequencies. The drive unit itself, you can see on the screen here, uses an enormous magnet on the rear to control all that sound for you. You've also got extremely large voice coils. The tweeter that you can see sort of blown apart here as well comes through the centre of the drive unit, as we can see here, and it's also rear vented to cut down on distortion as well. As I can say, it's a complete new redesign from Kef. In fact, a lot of the technology they're using in this speaker is from a speaker called the Concept Blade. Now, as it says, that the Concept Blade was a concept speaker developed by Kef, costing over £1 million in its design. Now, some of the features from the Concept Blade are now filtering down into this Kef Q series. So, a tremendous range of speakers. In fact, the Q300s that you see here have been reviewed by What Hi-Fi. Now, they were reviewed alongside many other manufacturers' speakers, and this beat everything else in the review. Okay, so here we have a shot of the actual two new drive units, which are the units here. First of all, we've got the Uni-Q drive unit. This particular one is actually out of the Q100, which is the smaller of the bookshelf speakers. As you can see on here, you've got the actual drive unit, which is mounted independently, as you can see, to the actual tweeter in the centre here. You've got the Z-Flex design running around the outer rim of the drive unit as well. So there's no barrier to the actual high frequencies travelling over this drive unit. If you look at the older drive unit, out of the older Q series, which is this unit here, you've got this rim, like a lot of speakers have, basically, which causes a barrier to the high frequencies that are filtering over the actual surface of the drive unit, which then introduces distortion. So as a complete new design, design on the new Uni-Q drive unit. You've also got on the new unit as well a much larger tweeter. If you look at the tweeter in the centre of that drive unit there compared to the old drive unit, you've actually got a much larger tweeter in the centre of the unit. The magnets on the back of these units as well are absolutely enormous. You can see the size of the magnet on the back of there, and extremely large voice coils as well, which are difficult to see on there just in the down in the centre of the unit. Because the magnet is so large on this, it gives you tremendous control over the actual drive unit itself, and the magnet on here is more than twice the size of the magnet that's actually on the older Q series, Uni-Q series drive unit. This is the low frequency driver that you see in the floor-standing speakers from Kef, and yet again enormous magnets on the rear of the drive units to give complete control over the bass frequencies. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the back of the Q900. What you've got on here is basically your speaker terminals. Now, there's been a complete rework of the design of the crossover in this range of speakers. So what you've got on here is basically, if you want to bi-wire or bi-amp this speaker, the terminals that you see here are sort of below and above. If you want to bi-amp or bi-wire, the controls in the centre here just unscrew. So you're not having to sort of remove any links. Just unscrew those and you're then equipped for bi-wiring the actual speaker itself. If you're just wiring from a single source, then basically just screw those down, attach to the bottom two or the top two, and you're okay for wiring just from a standard stereo source if you don't want to bi-amp or bi-wire the actual speakers themselves. As I said, this particular finish is in the cherry finish that you see here, but you've also got walnut or the black oak finish as well. Comes with a little bracket if you actually want to wall mount the speaker. There's also obviously you can get floor stands for them as well. What we'll do, we'll have a look at the larger speakers in the range. I said at the moment here we've got the 700. In this particular range, we were saying before, you've got the bookshelves, the 1s, the 3s, and then the floor standards, which are the 5s, the 7s and the 9s. You've also got in that range the dipoles, which are showing just on the screen here, and you've also, if you are setting this up for a full AV surround sound system, whether it's 5.1, 7.2, whatever it may be, you've also got a couple of sensors on here, which are the Q200 and the Q600 sensor. The subwoofer is also shown in the picture here as well. So let's just take a closer look at the Q700. Okay, so here we've got the Q700. You see it's in the walnut finish. I've turned it on its side slightly to hopefully show you the design and the structure internally on this cabinet. What you've got here are the low frequency drive units here. Now, these drive units that you see at the bottom are divided up into their own cabinet area. The idea around this is basically to stop any distortion going into the top drive unit, the Uni-Q drive unit here, to cut down on any distortion that may interfere with the higher frequencies. So what you have, the cabinet is basically sealed off internally here. Now, if I press this bottom drive unit, hopefully you'll see this one moving, but this one not. So if I press that drive unit in there, you can see some movement on this drive unit here. And if we press this drive unit here, we should see the Uni-Q moving here. And vice versa, it's moving the bottom speaker on there. So completely sealed off into their own cabinet structure internally on the speaker itself. It's a wonderful design on this range of Q series speakers. The actual sound quality you get from this speaker you'd only really normally achieve in a speaker range in a much higher price. There is a speaker for everyone out there in the Q series, whether it's the 100s, the 300s, up to the 5, 7s or 9s, complete AV systems. As I said, they are all wired up in our showroom for demonstration purposes. Please give me a call. My name is Chris on 01204 861 861 if you'd like some more details on this range of speakers. What I am going to show you at the end of this video clip are some snapshots of the actual drive units themselves. So have a look at those, because the drive units, as I said, in this range of speakers are completely reworked. Because of the amount of technology in the drive units, it's cut down on the technology needed in the crossovers, so you get a purer sound from this range of speakers. So call into our store, which is in Bolton or in Leeds, where you'll find the Q series on demonstration, or go to our website if you'd like some more information. There's information on our website on the Q series on there as well. Thank you for viewing.